Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know how we do as you enter the room. Say hello. Invite someone into the conversation with us this morning. Because over here, we do not believe in growing alone. Share this amongst your community. I know the common theme is to go alone, but as my mentors say, don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. So, good morning, everybody. And this is Luciana Turner of the LT&A Consulting Group bringing you this morning's edition of Contracting Chatter. How are you doing today? Excuse me. I don't know why it is. As soon as I go live, this frog wants to jump in my throat. I don't know what it is, but we're going to get past it. So I hope you had an amazing evening, a restful evening, and you're ready to get to work. And I have some content I want to share with you this morning to kind of get you started. So here we go. Now, yesterday I talked about not exhaustion not being the goal. Now, if you're joining by Facebook, you have to give all of these streaming services permission to share your profile. So otherwise, you just show up on my end as Facebook user. And so whoever joined me this morning, all I see is Facebook user. That's why I'm not greeting you by name. So good morning. I'll see who you are when I go back into the replay. So just remember from yesterday, exhaustion is not the goal. Having a strategic plan, which includes proper time management. And proper time management in government contracting allows you to always be on time. Keep in mind the government doesn't accept late submissions. Good morning, Vanya. How are you doing? You know what? I am having issues with streaming to my primary profile. I actually had to add it this morning. So I don't know what's going on with that. Facebook is Facebooking. So as we back to my main point. Government doesn't accept late submissions. So keeping exhaustion out of the equation allows you to submit timely submissions. So building in key time blocks, building in a schedule that allows you to pivot when necessary, to allow for situational switching. And there are times when you just can't do it. And allowing the grace and ease to just say, I can't. There are times when you just have to say, I cannot. And you need to be okay with that. So that's paramount with all things. But that's not what I didn't want to recap yesterday. I wanted to move on to this. We're moving into, we're actually in the summer months. So you're going to see a uptick in government contracting events. One of which being every agency hosts some type of small business event. GSA hosts several events if you're interested in the GSA schedule. Now, I know people think GSA is simple. Get on the schedule and it's just this gold mine. GSA doesn't quite work like that. And if you're not careful, GSA can be tricky because agencies will have you believing you always have to bid GSA when you don't. You only have to use your GSA rate if it's a GSA contract or if the contract specifically calls for GSA rates. But they will have you thinking you always have to bid GSA just because you have a GSA schedule. So, yes, if you're not GSA ready, don't go GSA. If you do not know the GSA rules, don't go GSA. If you're not properly equipped to defend yourself and your organization at all times, don't go GSA. A lot of people get on hype and jump on bandwagons when it comes to government contracting, GSA, 8A, a whole lot of stuff. And they're not properly equipped because they fall for misinformation constantly. And GSA is one of them. You do not get on a GSA schedule and then magically contracts appear. You still have to market yourself. I don't know where this concept of somebody giving you something comes from. That's not how GSA works. But GSA has they host them periodically. I believe it's once per quarter. The next one is coming up next quarter, beginning of next quarter, which is in July. How to do business with GSA, where they're actually going to go over this. July, I don't remember the exact date. And excuse me, I still have it up. July 11th online, and it's online, how to do business with them. And one of the key stakes they talk about is how to effectively use the GSA schedule. Now, GSA is effective if you do disaster recovery and if you do emergency preparedness. If that is your thing, you definitely want a GSA schedule. Because what the government does not have time to do is to barter back and forth and to do dickering services. That isn't the time for it. So having a GSA schedule, if you sell certain type of supplies and goods, GSA is good. If you have certain labor categories, GSA is good. However, I will always say, if you do not know the rules surrounding GSA, do not go GSA until you learn those rules and regulations and until you know the proper way to use them. Because as I say, people have you using GSA rule rates and you don't have to. I'll never forget somebody talking about, yeah, they had me bid my GSA rates on this contract. And I was looking at them so crazy. Because I was like, where in this contract does it say that? But you didn't read your own contract. But it's not fair. It's not fair. You didn't read your own contract. You got into something, you didn't understand the rules. You didn't respect the industry enough to learn the rules. Therefore, you got okie dokes. That's your fault. And I meant that. Respect the industry enough to learn the rules. And I'm going to take it one step further. Respect the industry enough to invest. Attend the conferences. Get in the room with the people who can tell you. I'm going to keep saying this until you hear it. You cannot $49 and $79 your way to a multi-million-dollar contract. And I'm going to go here. The companies you really want to partner with are not in these rooms. In fact, I'm recording a podcast episode that's going to talk about the problem in your business. It could be you're not priced for your customer. And that's a whole nother hallelujah. You need to get in the room with your customer. You need to get into the room with your next partner. And as quiet as it's kept, pick up what I'm putting down. Your next high quality customer, or not, excuse me, high quality partner, oftentimes is not in these $49, $29 rooms. And quite often, a lot of the big agencies are just not in these rooms. They're in the they're at the larger conferences. They're at the larger events. So if you want to get in the room with them, you're going to have to invest. It is what it is. It separates the wheat from the chaff, as they say. American Express hosts a conference every year. I was trying to see, well, they don't host it. They they sponsor it in DC every summer, and it was a good event. Here it is. No, I can't find it. I can't find it. They used to sponsor an event every summer for a whole week in Washington D.C. And I'm not sure if they're not sponsoring it. Here it is. Okay, it's actually June 15th. That's the event. If you're going to attend any free government contracting event that has the movers and the shakers at it, now this is one free event you should go to. I will tell you, there are a lot of free events out here. Some of them are not worth most of them are not worth their time. As you grow in business, you begin to learn a lot of these free events are a waste of time. The people in the room are not the people you want to network with. And the content is very elementary. They're just a waste of time. If you're new, you may want to attend just to get your feet wet. However, what you find is that the people there are not who you want to. They just is not it. This event is what you want to do, and quite frankly, I wish I had have looked earlier because I would have went. In fact, shoot, man, um, it's going on. I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring it up while I'm talking to you, and obviously I can't walk into chew gum this morning. It's a it's a free event I will tell anybody to go to because American Express sponsors it. They're able to do things that most free events can't do. Oh, okay. Well, let me give you the details, Vaughn. Um, Okay. Hold on. Let me go. I'm trying to bring it up on another device. So hold on. That's what's taking me so long. I'm trying to bring it up on another device. American Express Open is hosting a free event on DC Friday, June 15th. The event is called Grow Your Business Through Government Contract. It's held at the Washington Marriott Wardman. It's from 8 to 4. And don't laugh at me. It's from 8 to 4. They're actually having people from the Department of Interior, interactive workshops. Mastering the GSA schedule is one of their workshops. Social media for effective government contracting. You cannot have ratchet social media and be a government contractor. You have to be careful with that. Develop effective teaming relationships. I tell you all the time. A lot of you want to do advanced teaming relationships and you're not ready for it. Networking opportunities. Your next contracting partner could be in that room, could be at that event. Leveraging certifications. If you can't submit a bill, do not get certified. Your first thing should be to get your back end together. Successful proposal strategies. If you need to learn how to submit a proposal before you get certified, I am the only person who's going to tell you that. Most people are going to tell you go out here and get certified. I'm going to tell you to get your back end together. A stable, sustainable, scalable foundation is what you need to do. Then get a certification if necessary. You can become a multi-million-dollar company and never get certified. I'm actually going to talk about that in October. I'm still having an event in October. It's just not the Contractors Intensive. This event in October is Christian Coaches in Business and Contracting. Here in Charlotte, it's a day-and-a-half event, Thursday and Friday, October 5th and 6th, I believe is that Thursday and Friday. We're talking about leadership, ethics, and contracting. Now, this is specifically talking to the Christian business owners, because sometimes we believe as Christian business owners, we have to drop our faith to be in business, and that is not true. You can still have your faith and operate in business. And that is what this event is talking about. Now, the Contractors Intensive is next year in September here in Charlotte. And it's still an amazing, amazing event. This October is the Christian Business Coaches. Actually, it's Christians in Business and Contracting. So if you are new in government contracting, if you want to become a government contractor, I am hosting sessions on integrating government contracting into your current business. I'm actually going to show you how to do that, as well as we're talking about how to do it God's way. Now, if that's not for you, then this event's not for you. But if you're someone who is a believer, who often feels you have to put your beliefs to the side to be in business, you want to be in that room. But we're going back to this. I'm not doing anything virtual. What I find, and I have another coach, and she was the one, because I can't gauge people virtually, because a lot of people aren't picking up the content virtually. And I actually have a coach that I follow, and she did an event virtual. And she has a mega event she does every year. She did it virtually. And she did virtually one year during COVID, and she didn't do it again. She actually didn't hold her event virtually, do it virtually. And for this reason, you don't get the same impact. Most people aren't paying attention. As much as people want to tell the lie that they are, they aren't. They're distracted. They're doing other stuff. So the impact that you're trying to get, the information, the teaching, and that you're trying to convey, it gets lost. Now, I'm doing smaller trainings virtually, but my bigger trainings, I'm not doing them virtually. And then there's something about being in the room. It is difficult to network virtually, and people can lie as much as they want to. It is hard to network virtually. It's hard to make that connection with the next person virtually. We like to have these virtual coffee chats. It's just hard to do it. And we just need to move back into that space where we're just making that connection. And I understand people are still a little nervous. That's where your leadership comes in. You just have to decide for yourself. My events include continental breakfast and lunch. It's in the ticket price. You're just responsible for your own dinner for my event. But Vaughn, if you're coming here in October, you're going to be here anyway. So you might as well buy a ticket. So yeah, that's the American Express event in June. With the content I teach, I feel I need to be in front of the person. And because I need to feel the shift in the room. During COVID, I held a couple of virtual events. And one, everybody doesn't want to turn their cameras on. And I believe everybody's an adult. I'm not about to browbeat you. How you coming in September and November? Now, I am hosting an event in November, but I'll talk about that later. Secondly, I need eye contact to see if the information is landing. So if I need to switch. So let me deal with the first question you said. I need to know if I need to go another way. I only know that if I'm either making eye contact or if I can feel the energy shifting. A lot of people don't want to turn their cameras on. And I have adults. If your camera is off, I can't tell. And then when you get the feedback, people are saying, well, the content didn't meet the need. And what I notice also in the Q&A is I'll get a question and it's literally the last thing I said. And it's coming from somebody who didn't have their camera on. Whereas you're in the room. So you're focused in. You're zoned in, and it's and one thing one thing I call COVID the great pivot really is teaching us that we already knew, but people live in denial. There's no such thing as multitasking. You can't do two, three things at one time. And people love to say, I can listen to this training and do XYZ, ABC. You're missing stuff. And people love to say, I can watch this training and do the dishes and do laundry and do this and do that and do the other thing. And you can't. So that's just something that, I was having a conversation. Well, I wasn't personally having a conversation, but it was a conversation that one of my she is a mentor, but she is a mentor. She's a virtual mentor of mine. She was saying when she decided not to do her big conference virtually, it was when she shifted totally in person. And was just making sure everybody got it. And then when she did the feedback, she had an independent company poll the participants, and the feedback was, and it was the online participants, they didn't glean from it what they wanted. And the noticeable difference from what people, well, I didn't hear this and I didn't hear that, or I missed this or I missed that. It was the virtual participants. And I know I tuned in virtually, and when we did the recap, there was a lot of stuff I missed. And I was a virtual participant. But the people in the room got it and I missed it. And I consider myself a very focused listener, but I was at home. And and I have two kids running around. And as much as I like to pay attention, I get distracted. But those are just some of my rationales for not doing virtual for the larger events, especially 8+ hours. Oh, but I'm about to go over my time for today. And I didn't get through my whole list, but that's okay because we're going to be back tomorrow. But those are good questions. That's one of the reasons why I don't do large ones. Now, my smaller master classes, I do those virtual. And I do have some smaller master classes I am doing virtually this year. And I'm updating my website. I will be dropping in a link to those for everybody, for the masters to register for. But we'll be talking about those later on. So join me tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for another installment of Contractor Chatter. I'm Luciana Turner, your host. Have an amazing, amazing day, and thank you for joining me this morning.